Hello. When you come on, say hello. I'm waiting for Eric. He's like running behind. I don't know what he's doing. How is everybody? It's Monday night. We're excited to be here. Do you want to come say hi?
Sure.
You can come say hi. I have my little ones on both sides, and say hi. Don't do anything crazy.
Hi.
You're live. Everybody's gonna see it. There we go. You say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
When you guys come on, please say hi. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? Go finish your dinner. He's such an attention seeker. Here, go. Oh, he wants to switch sides with me.
You changed the size?
Sit. Hi, Toronto. Hi, Heather. Thanks for coming on with us. Hi, Lucetta. Dan, what's up,
What's up, Dan?
Hi, John. Jason, how are you guys? How's everybody's night? What do you guys think about the topic? Innie versus outie.
It's confusing.
No, I think it's great. Let's talk about belly buttons.
We got a bunch of people on. Maybe we should get started.
We do.
So the topic is not actually about belly buttons. So I'm sorry, everybody. I know.
I thought for sure that was happening.
I figured that was a topic everyone really wanted to talk about.
I did research today, and I was totally going to do it. Shh. Our kids are totally going to be in this.
Yeah.
I know it.
But what we're really talking about is actually whether do we live an external focused life or internally focused life.
Right. And what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is, when we have a problem, we have a situation, do we focus our attention outwardly, thinking that we are products of our environment and just products of our situation, that life happens to us and not for us?
Right.
That's what I mean. So what is your focus? Do you believe that life happens to us, or does life happen for us?
We want to hear from you guys. Yeah. Right. What do you guys think? When things happen in your life, do you typically feel like, so-and-so did something to me and it caused, this outcome? Or, whatever the situation is, do you guys feel like it's happening to you? Or do you feel like maybe, you had a part in that?
Right.
What do you guys think? Matthew says internal.
Right. If I had to guess, I'd say most people are living externally focused lives, and that's really why we wanted to come on and talk about this, because it's really important. People are always focusing on, this happened in my childhood, I was brought up like this is all I know, my boss does this to me, my job does this to me, my children do this to me. It's always an externally focused thing, believing that your situation is coming from external sources, where really everything is internal.
Within.
Everything.
Right.
And that's why we think it's such an important and valuable topic, because it's not something that's really talked about enough.
Well, and I think that one thing that came up with us this weekend that we were talking about is self-sabotage. We see people make choices and make decisions, and a lot of times they'll say, oh, well, I had such and such come up, or I had this happen, or this emergency. But really, it's just self-sabotage. You're creating barriers in your life where you can't actually get to that goal, because there's this internal struggle where you really, number one, aren't sure whether or not you can do it. And number two, you always thought, okay, well, that's just not me. That's other people, but that's not me. But what is the difference? What makes us different? Like you look at the people he talks about being raised, these people that go through these terrible childhood, tragedies and these crazy things that happen to them. But when they grow up, they're complete opposite of maybe what their parents are. And they make completely different decisions, and they're huge successes in their life. What is the difference between them versus the people that end up, kind of following in the same footsteps?
I think Jen's point is perfect, and that's what kind of one of the things I wanted to touch upon, is that that's what it's about. It's about catching those moments and thinking to yourself, okay, what does this mean? So, maybe for a moment thinking, God, my boss and my job, and you're really starting to feel like your situation, which is mostly external, is causing some particular difficulty for you. But really thinking, saying, well, no, what am I thinking? What does this mean to me? And really focusing your attention and realizing that, how are you processing this? How are you perceiving this?
Well, right. And everybody has a part to play. And we see a lot, and I'll give myself as an example. We look at, I was married previously, and, obviously that ended in divorce, and divorce is never fun. But I could have very easily said, well, you did this to me. You put me in this situation, and I had nothing to do with this. It's your choice, and it's not my fault, and I'm a victim, and I'm struggling because of you, and the list can go on. We've heard it. But what I chose to do is say, you know what? Somebody did make a decision in our marriage, but what part did I play? Because I did play a part in our marriage. And so what can I do differently, and what do I need to look at when it comes to my next relationship, and being a better person and being a better version of myself and treating that other person in a different way. But I don't think that most people look at things that way. And so how do you move forward in life, and how do you really reach your goals if you're not willing to look at the part that you play and kind of where your mindset is?
Right. And here's what I think is the coolest part. So, like, having the life happens to me is such a victim mentality, and there's so many people with victim mentalities. But having the stance that life happens for me and that I can control it is so powerful. And that's that's when people give away their accountability. When people blame things, and when people give away their accountability to external forces, like, I feel bad, because how powerful is it to actually assume your responsibility, assume your accountability? Right.
And when you do, when you have that click of, you know what, I have full control over my life. I have full control over what happens to me every single day. I have full control over whether or not I'm successful, whether or not my family is happy, whether or not, whatever it may be, you have full control over it. We even talk about, with, a weight loss journey, is the body follows the mind. So unless you're here ready for a change, and you are fully committed and willing to put the work in, and to make the mental changes, the body's not going to follow you. It may vary for a very short period, but that's it. And Dan makes a good point. He talks about, really it's community and the people that you're around, and it's true. Who are you surrounded with? Are you surrounded with people that are negative all the time? Are you surrounded by victims? Because if you're surrounded by victims, chances are you're probably feeling the same way about your situations.
Right. It's just so powerful. There are certain things in life that won't go right. But to have accountability and accept those. But if you're going to accept the negatives, guess what? You get to accept the positives. And when things go really well, believe me, I want that accountability. When things go really well, I want to accept that.
Well, and here's the deal. If you choose to, all the negatives that are happening, if you choose to give that to other people, so it's your fault, you did this to me, then when something positive happens, you got to give it to other people too.
Right.
That's not you.
You can't be one. You can't give away your negatives and accept the positives. It doesn't work like that. Right.
We see that a lot though. Huh?
Exactly.
Hi, Mecca. I have to say hi. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
I think she said she's doing cardio right now.
Really?
That's awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's just a really, really powerful topic. We were talking this week about accountability.
There's a lot of self-sabotage.
So for me as a physician, and I always preface this because I feel like I say things that are somewhat controversial in the medical field, but certain medications I believe I'm learning this as I'm going forward in my career, are the ultimate enablers. Yes. And patients come in and they're putting off on this external thing while I'm taking this medication, right?
Yeah, well, I'm just going to keep taking this so that I can go keep doing
I can do what I want. Right. So
I don't understand.
They're giving power to this thing, whereas instead of assuming the power, I want the power. What do you guys think? Do you want the power? Do you want to give it away to external forces, or give it away to situations?
So Jen Moore, I had to leave people who are too negative for me, right?
Yes.
And Jen, let me tell you, girl, I have cleaned house.
Yeah.
Cleaned house over the past couple of years, and it has been so freeing for me. The very beginning, he was around for some of it, but the very beginning of that was scary for me because I thought, well, what if I'm alone? I don't really know, what do I do? And you know what? When I cleared that space, it just opened it up for all the amazing people to come in.
Right, but you did that.
I did that.
You took control.
Right.
That's accountability.
I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you don't call me and you're not a good friend and no, I'm just going to take control of the situation. I don't have to be mean, but you're just probably never going to hear from me again.
That's right.
So let's see. Earl, we all have our own, sorry, it's small. It's my fault. I should have made it bigger. Our choices, whether negative or positive. We never stop learning, right?
Life does not happen to us.
I was writing last night and talking about what I envision, for my future. And one of those is I never want to feel fully satisfied, because I always want to feel like I can still have room for growth, and I can still learn, and I'm still always going to be open to learning something new, because I don't think that our power is endless. And so we keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Jen isn't really watching Johnny. Hi, Becky. Right, Mecca. Yeah. Did you see what she said?
What?
Especially pain meds.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a touchy subject in this house.
It is very touchy.
Listen, modern medicine is there for a reason, you guys. And I'll say for me, it saved me and my kids' lives. Like I had to have C-sections with my children. Ty and I wouldn't be here. Obviously, Kagan wouldn't either if we didn't have modern medicine. It is definitely there for a reason. But yeah, it is becoming a crutch.
Right, and I don't mean to belittle it by any means. Again,
it definitely has a place.
Right, so anxiety, depression, these things, one of my least favorite things to do is to give a medication for these things, because we have to process.
Right,
there is a
have
reason,
to feel, you guys.
We have to feel. We have to go internally and figure out, where did this come from? What does it stem from? What things trigger me? It can't just be this medication and I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to ride my life out.
Well, and I think even just like with meds, when we place blame and give that power to other people or situations, it's the same thing, because it's too hard to look internally. Right. I don't want to look in the mirror and see maybe the mistakes that I made and the things that I need to change.
Right.
But let me tell you, when you do, it's absolutely freeing to be able to go in, put the ego down, put the ego aside, and say, you know what? I'm not perfect. And I do have places I need to grow. There's so many good comments on here. I love it. Heather, yes. It is very freeing to get rid of negative relationships. It is so freeing.
Well, Jen, I totally hear your point. And again, I'm not saying that they're not necessary. They can be in some regard life-saving. But right. I see so many patients, believe it or not, who don't. And I'll suggest, well, do you go to someone to talk about it? Do you want to talk about it?
Right.
No.
Right. And
just give me my pill.
And I'm going to be completely open right now. This is me being very truthful. When I first was going through my divorce, I was a single mom within a week. I started experiencing, I was on a road trip one time to Arizona on my own, nobody in the car, in the middle of nowhere. And I started feeling like literally I was going to die. I felt like I was having a heart attack. I couldn't breathe. I was shaking. And, I learned obviously that I was having an anxiety, panic attack, whatever. But they ended up being pretty consistent after that. And I remember talking to a doc that I work with, and I said, but I don't want to take meds. I'm scared. And he's like, listen, we know what the issue is. So let's just deal with it so that you can get some clarity and you can take care of it. And I did. I took the steps to fix that and work with me so that I didn't have anxiety attacks. So, but I needed, at that point, I did need something to kind of help it subside, and then I could work on the mental portion of it, because that's what it was. Right. So Jen, by all means, that's what it's there for. That's it's just not intended for
It's
forever.
Temporary, but it's temporary so that we have the time and we have the ability to focus internally, because that's really what it all comes down to. And I think that's what I'm trying to impart on people. So next time you guys are faced with hey, excuse me, he's singing in the middle of my live.
What?
Where does this kid learn this?
This kid is done.
That's a whole different segment. We'll do that. But anyway, so I don't remember what I was saying. So next time you're faced with a situation, and it's the most powerful thing you could do. And again, there's an amazing book that we read and we talk about probably all the time, but it's called A Big Leap.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't read it, if you haven't heard about it, look into it. But it basically talks about awareness is the first step. So if something happens and you're saying, oh, this person did this, or my boss, you have to stop and say, wait, what am I supposed to learn here? What's on the other side of this?
Right.
But you have to go internally.
And did you know that you actually can be happy all the time? It actually is possible. And, we find ourselves, and it's funny because we don't recognize it until you really start digging deep. You'll have these really amazing periods, and then all of a sudden something will happen. You get really sick, or I had a car accident, or I had this, or I had that, and some big thing happens and it ruins everything. And you may not realize it, but really it's a sabotage thing, because in your mind it's okay, well, I can't have everything going right for me all the time. Right. And so how do I sabotage that? And let me tell you, we do it all the time, and I catch myself doing it still. I even just, like just recently we had somebody that, every opportunity in front of them to make a change and to make their goals happen. But every chance that it's right in front of this person, they sabotage it.
Right.
Something comes up, something happens, there's an emergency. There isn't. It's just all made up. It's all, and whether they recognize it or not, it's made up and you're sabotaging yourself.
Right, it's limitations we put on ourselves subconsciously.
Right.
And we do them. We do it every day.
Upper limit. That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
The upper limit. That's right.
Yeah, I love that book.
Yeah, it's actually an amazing book. It's really eye-opening. It's a perfect read. We all do it, so it's a perfect read for everybody.
Right, and I'm a firm believer. Start writing. I know it's crazy. I don't have the time. Yes, you do. Whatever's important to you, you'll make time for. Start writing. Start writing about your day. How do you feel? Is there a common theme in that when it's other people, other things, that are happening to you? Yeah. And start really assessing, what part do I play in this?
Yeah, remember, I think you did a video once. So Shannon, one day we were having a great day. It was just like a weekend day. We're having a phenomenal day, and all of a sudden, when she drives, it's touchy.
I'm so much better, you guys.
Okay, so but she suddenly started to get like in a bad mood, and she was reacting to the other drivers. She was reacting to everyone, and she literally snapped. Like, she stopped and said, "What am I doing? Why am I doing this?"
We were driving. We both got silent, and I think it was like 3 minutes later. I go, I'm pretty sure that I just upper limited myself. I just sabotaged. He's like, I was thinking the same thing. Yep. But it took time for me to recognize that. It didn't happen overnight. This has been a process and a journey, but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You do have to. There is a point where you have to go, okay, I really need to dig deep and figure out, what am I doing? Because I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not confident. I'm not comfortable. I don't like where I'm at. Well, guess what? You can change all of that.
Yep.
All of it. You have the power to change all of it. You can completely change your life.
Yeah.
But it just starts here.
You guys ever have those days where you feel like and we all say it, nothing's going right today. Nothing's going right today. So it's at that point where we have to catch it and look internally and say, why isn't it? Is it really? Is the universe really against me today? Is the world really against me today? No, it's something that we're doing.
Right.
It's an energy we're putting out. It's something we're doing, and that's kind of what we're talking about. Is catching that moment, looking internally, and saying, okay, what's really going on here?
Right.
What's really going on?
Right, and you'll find it is really hard in the beginning because you feel like it's almost like a second job, because you're running through your head. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just thought that. I can't believe that I didn't realize how negative I was. And so it is a process to get out of it. But things like Dan says, he started painting again. Yeah. Find something where you can kind of get in your own head and really stop with the external and really focus on what's going on inside.
Yep. Change of state.
Yeah, I want to read what Lucetta says. My family.
So so changing a state. So like this morning, I actually had one of those mornings. I woke up, I felt like nothing was going right. I woke up kind of crabby, and the garage door wouldn't close. Literally, you ever have that where the stupid garage door it wouldn't stop. I was.
And he was frustrated with other people, and he let that become an external thing that affected him. He did.
We all do it, but I did my best to catch it, and that's what I'm still working on it. We shared this with you guys. We're in our own development. We want to just help people. We want people to develop along with us, but that's really what it's about. So, and one of the coolest points we realized recently is like, if you're not changing, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Right. So if you're the same doing the same thing a year from now, have you lived in that year? Are you growing? It's about growth.
Right. We're not supposed to be the same people a year from now, 5 years from now. If I am, I'm doing something wrong. So it really is about progress. We should be evolving and learning and growing. I don't care what age you are. You're never at a point where you can't still grow. That's just it. It's impossible. And I
want to clarify for Heather. I just want to clarify, Heather. So the book is called The Big Leap. And one of the main concepts I talk about is something called an upper limit. So we upper limit ourselves. So when Shannon was driving and she was having a great day, something internally said to her, you don't deserve this good day. And she sabotaged it. That's called an upper limit, and the book talks about that. But the book is called The Big Leap.
Right. And Lucetta, she's talking about they had a huge hardship with their family. And she said, I blamed everyone and everything. And then, she finally took a breath, sat back and evaluated and realized that it's not everybody else and everything else, and when we have that internal struggle, when we're also with our kids, and I know for her family, it's a reflection to them. And then they're in that mode of negative, everybody else is doing this to us. It's not our fault. And no, we play a part. No matter what is going on in life, we're playing a part, right. And we have to be responsible for that.
And the struggles are there for a reason. It's how life happens for us.
Right.
Again,
if you're putting it out there that right. I always have struggles, I always have something always happens, then something is always going to happen. Always. Right. But if you get out of that mindset of you can actually be happy and successful and it doesn't always have to be a struggle, then imagine how things could change for you.
Yeah. Life is meant for us to win. Very, very, very big.
Yes, Jessica, it's how we show up.
That's right. Keep it internal. Realize that you process everything, and putting your blame and putting your accountability and putting your power externally, it only takes away from your happiness. It takes away from your success. It takes away from you living.
Right, yeah. Right. And Matthew, yes, there are struggles. There absolutely is. I've been there. Totally get it. But I chose in my struggles that I wasn't going to be a victim of it. I was going to conquer that, and I was going to grow, and I was going to be better. And you know what? Everybody has that choice no matter what the situation. Right. We can either be victims or we can choose to take the power and say, you know what? I'm going to grow, and I'm going to be better for this.
Right. There's always something on the other side of every struggle. So when something's going really bad, and our mentor says this, when something's going really bad, he'll sit and he'll think to himself, what is on the other side of this? What am I going to get to? It's going to be amazing. But I'm going through this right now, and it stinks, but you have to keep that focus.
It's going to be beautiful on the other side.
What is on the other side of that?
Yeah.
There always is something on the other side of every struggle.
So out of all of this, Jennifer Noel wants to know, so innie or outie?
Oh, goodness gracious.
I love you.
Oh, man. Thank you, Jennifer. We love you.
So, yes, we wanted to share you guys because we've seen a lot of self-sabotage going on lately. And, we want you guys to know that, number one, everybody struggles with that. We do too. It's just where you're at in your journey, but you have to start. You have to start with really focusing internally and figuring out where are you at. Do you realize that you have the power to change everything? And start in here, and everything else in your life, your body, everything will follow. You just have to start with the mental part. Yeah,
and Becky says she's using a cane right now. She's determined to get better, and
get it.
And what we're learning is that to not focus on the issue, not focus on I'm using a cane, but like you're focus on
I'm walking on my own.
Right, I'm walking on my own. I'm walking on my own. I'm walking on my own.
People that are in weight loss, we tell them don't focus on I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. We tell them focus on where you like. Okay, I'm a size 6 and I feel amazing, or I'm a size 10 and I'm running with my kids and this is awesome.
What you focus on expands.
Yes.
What you focus on expands. So we always tell people don't focus on I gotta lose weight, like she said, because otherwise you're gonna perpetually in life be chasing losing weight.
Right. And don't think for a second that we don't wake up sometimes in bad moods. We
do. But we're again
this morning.
We are in our own journey.
Right.
All I can hope is every day, or maybe not every day, but periodically I'm making gains and I'm improving, and that's all we can really do.
Right. So just show up every day. Every day you move forward, you take new steps, and try something new to really get outside, like to get out of all this external stuff that you feel like you're lost in, and start focusing internally, even if it's 10 minutes a day. I'm sorry, but all of you have 10 minutes a day to put aside. 10, that's it.
That's right.
Just make it happen.
So we'd love to hear from you guys. So if you guys have any, in the upcoming week, if you guys have an event where something you're struggling and you put a halt on it, you pause and you go internally and you kind of work yourself through it, we'd love to hear. We love hearing this stuff.
Some of these are so funny. Sorry, Peter Pan, Joshua. Yes, Jen Moore, I want gains. Damn it.
Yes.
We can help you with that.
Yeah.
We can help you with that.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, we'll let you go. We've taken enough of your time tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We love you
We love
guys.
all of you. Thank you,
This
guys.
is awesome.
Message us. You want to continue the conversation? Send us a message.
Yes.
If you found value in this and you
Share it.
have someone you think who would find value, please share it.
Yeah, you guys, seriously, let's spread some positive.
Yeah.
Imagine that. All right, you guys. We
Have a
love
good
you.
night.
Bye.
Bye.